Hi. Hi, Caroline. Hi. I can't hear you. Caroline, I can't hear you.
Okay, sorry, I was on mute. Can you hear me now?
Yes. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good also. So before the other members or the participants join, what would you want? How would you want the meeting to be conducted?
I think you can just introduce the session and then I will pick up from there and talk a bit about myself and also what I will be covering. I hope to be throwing some questions during the session to make it interactive, and then maybe have a final Q&A at the end.
I think that's fine.
Okay. It's a bit windy where I am, so I hope that won't be too much disturbing the session.
I don't think it will, because I think right now you're okay.
Okay. In order to be updated, if I've put up a new video there on various issues. So in terms of my profile, I'm a career coach. So what that really means is that I give career advice, and I work mainly with young people in various parts of mainly Africa, in the Southern African region, but also because online platforms allow us to connect and interact with people across the continent and even outside. I've had the opportunity to also work with other young people and glad that today I'm talking to most of you guys who are from Kenya. And I've also had an opportunity to give some career advice, career talks to platforms organized by people in Asia, people in the UK, and many other places. I also help with writing CVs and cover letters. I'm also an author. You can see there on my screen. I've put 2 of my covers for my books, which are already available in some of the universities on the continent, on effective CV writing and also effective cover letter writing. I do speak also to young people on various career issues because of my youth orientation. I like to add more like a response to the job, and it's just general. Whereas a cover letter tends to do more because you want certain things to stand out, or you want to highlight certain things about the particular position or opportunity that you are applying for. Sometimes people ask that if a job does not state whether you should include a cover letter or not, should you include it? Yes, you should include it at all times. As we said, it's a covering letter. So it's more like your introductory letter. It's more like the first opportunity that you have to make contact with the recruiter. And the recruiters get very excited to go through cover letters in order to learn more about who the applicants are before they actually go through the CV. So I would say to you, it is important that you include the cover letter at all times. And I'm going to take you through the steps or the stages of crafting a great impact or a high impact cover letter that will encourage the recruiter or the recruiting manager to then be persuaded to read your CV. So that's why I'm emphasizing the point that it's a cover because it comes right at the top. Sometimes a common question that I get from applicants is whether it should be written in an email or it should be attached to a document. Again, if you think about the notion of covering letter, you can put it as in the body of email. That's also fine. But you make sure that you introduce or you reiterate certain information, again, to encourage the one reading it to then proceed and look through your CV. Emails, we send emails all the time, but sometimes some people do not take them seriously. There are some job applicants or people who apply for scholarships, fellowships, who don't take the application process seriously, such that you find that even when they are crafting the email, it lacks professionalism, or you find that the email is not even linked to the advert or the job that you have applied for. So when you decide whether to put it in an email or to attach the cover letter, what is important is that you make it direct to answer to direct the recruiter to your CV, and you highlight certain important information. Just checking on the chat to see what else others have put up. So I see that there's quite a number of comments. Justice says, I'm new to cover letter writing, so I expect to learn a lot. Of course, Justice, I'll try to share as much as I can. Faith says a structure and what it entails. Yes, I'll talk about that. What is expected, areas of interest from charity. Yes, I will talk about that. And Tracy says the difference between cover letter, resume, and CV. Yes, I will touch on that. I know that there was a session on CV writing earlier on, so I'll just try to just distinguish that for you so that you understand where the differences are. Enoch says he wants to learn more about the difference between a CV and a cover letter and how they both work together. So yes, I'll try to also share about that. So thank you for sharing your expectations on cover letter writing. So I will proceed. So I've said this is a letter, and it is different really from a CV, because a CV summarizes your skills, your education, and your work experience, and you prepare it to market yourself. With the cover letter, you prepare it in accordance to a particular job description and in support of your CV for a particular job. So in terms of the differences, I think I can just address the differences between resume, CV, and cover letter. Again, I started off by saying that we are now living in a time where we are able to connect with people across the globe or across the world. And one of those things, it presents us with opportunities to learn how things are done in different contexts. And I want to talk about resume from that point of view, that resumes, it's a common term that is used to refer to a shorter version of a CV. And this is most common in places like the US, where they'll just say, submit a resume of 1 page. Whereas a CV tends to be more detailed and it tends to be longer. And you'll find that in most of our African countries, most of our recruiters would say, submit a CV, but others would say a resume. So when they say resume, you try to make it short and to the point. Sometimes, depending on the amount of experience and skills that you have, you would find that in some contexts again, they would prefer a resume because they say it focuses more on your skills than the experience because you've got less experience. But again, we can engage and talk more about that. Right, in terms of how to create a cover letter, if you can see this graphic that I have on the screen right now, it says every cover letter should answer 3 questions. Why that specific organization or company? Why you? And why you and that company together? So these are 3 essential questions that you should answer or you should ask yourself when you are creating a cover letter. I've already said that a cover letter is a letter that you draft or create in support of an application to accompany a CV. But in doing so, in crafting that letter, there are 3 things that you should always have in mind. Why am I applying to that company? Why am I the best fit to that company? And where do my goals or my values align? So it's about why you and that company together. And these are the things that you want to demonstrate when you are crafting your cover letter. So this takes me to the purpose, what some of you were saying about you want to learn why we create cover letters. Why do we create cover letters? So the first reason I've put up there is that you want to tell the recruiter who you are and why you think you're the best person for the position. We are living in a very competitive market. We are living in a very competitive time. If you think about the way that COVID has led to closure of companies, loss of employment for some people, retrenchments and so on, it has really made the job market even thinner than what it was, though we are seeing also a rise in new opportunities in other fields. But because of that competition, it means even when you are making an application, you need to make yourself stand out. Whenever you are sitting down to craft a cover letter in support of a CV, make sure that you do the best that you can, because you're going to be competing with hundreds of other people for one position. I recently came across a document, I think it was 2 days ago, which was saying in Saudi Arabia, 28,000 women applied for, I think it was 30 train positions, 30 driving train positions. So you can see how sometimes things can be like. We are saying 28,000 people applied for 30 positions. So when you ask yourself, for me to stand out, and most of these applications, by the way, they are done on application tracking systems or software, where your application will be ranked according to how you meet the job on offer. So imagine where there are more than 1,000 applications or applicants, and the company is only looking for 5 or 10 people. So it means they use that system to then say who is ranking high, because the recruiting manager or the HR department will not have enough time and resources to go through each and every application of that 1,000. That's why you find that sometimes you apply for jobs, but you never get responses. You apply for opportunities and there's just silence. You only get contacted because you've been shortlisted. So whenever you are preparing either a CV or a cover letter, always bear that in mind, because the competition means that you should also set yourself apart. So you should also try to identify positions that speak, or that you see that I rank high if I am to make an application for that particular field. So I'm happy that this session is coming after you have done the CV session, because a cover letter, as I've said, that it supports the CV. They both, these two documents, they work hand in hand. So you'll find that as I talk about the cover letter here and there, I will be coming back to the CV because of that relationship between the two documents. So you need to showcase what makes you the best for the position. I've already reiterated on that point. Competition is vast out there. You are competing with people in Kenya, you're competing with people even outside for very few jobs. Sometimes you'd find yourself applying from Kenya for say a scholarship, or for a position that is in another country. And you are thinking, oh my God, I'm competing with the whole world. So how do I make myself to stand out? So I started off by saying it should do 3 things. You talk about the company and why there's you are a perfect fit to the company, and vice versa. So it's not only, most of the times when people apply for jobs, they only think about what they want to get from the job, but they forget that when a company is advertising for a position or recruiting, they are looking for a specific person who will do certain things, who is going to solve certain problems. So whenever you have that in mind, it will position you to think more carefully about the things you write in your cover letter or CV, and how you tell your story or you present yourself. Distinguish yourself from other applicants. Again, this is linked to the point about competition. It's linked to the point about you yourself, who you are. What skills do you have? What knowledge are you bringing? What experience do you have? Each and every person is unique. Our experiences are different, but it is the ability to set yourself apart from the rest that will make you to stand out. And recruiters are impressed by that authenticity. They are impressed by that uniqueness where you demonstrate why you are different. And I'm going to talk a bit more about how you distinguish yourself within the cover letter itself from the rest of the applicants. I have a point there that you do not duplicate your CV when you are writing a cover letter. Most of the times I see people not even taking enough time or giving themselves enough time to do a cover letter because they think it's not important. But as I started off the session, I said, this is where recruiters find more excitement, because they are saying, who do we have before they look at the CV. And then they go through your letter, and then they are encouraged to read your CV. They are encouraged to then want to learn more about what you have to offer. So do not just regurgitate your CV and say, oh, this is not important, a cover letter. Let me just take 2 minutes to draft something and send. That will not help you much, because your letter might not even be read. It might not even go far anyway, because you are not distinguishing yourself. You are not showing why you are the best for that company and why they are the best, why they think you are also the best for them. So that relationship I was saying about this being a two-way, you should look at it as a two-way kind of relationship. It's you benefiting from them, you offering them a service, but at the same time, they are looking for someone who can do certain things or who has to do certain things. So please do feel free to share any or to stop me if you've got any questions. You can even put on the chat so that we address the questions as they come for anything which is burning. Then the last point there on the slide, it says a cover letter should create excitement in the recruiter to want to read your CV. So that's what I was saying, that how are you writing or presenting yourself in your letter so that a potential hiring manager is excited to have you in their team? What are you saying about yourself? Do not undermine, undersell. Do not take it as, oh, it's just as a letter. You know, it doesn't need to be very important. It's a very important letter where you should, the same amount of time that you take creating your CV should be the same amount of time that you take crafting a powerful or a great impact cover letter, so that you generate that excitement to go to the next stage of the application process. So how do you write it? Now we're coming to the key question where people were asking, how do I write it? How is it different from a CV? So this is just basic in terms of what information do you present? If you remember, I'm sure some of you at primary school will remember that when you're doing primary school, there was a time you were taught about writing a business letter. You'd start off with your name, you put your address, you put the date, you state the subject, and you keep on going in that manner. So this is still the same process with cover letter writing. You will write your name right at the top, put your address. If you know the name of the hiring manager, include it. If you know that the hiring manager is Nancy, dear Nancy, there's something that changes the mood or the tone when you address someone by their first name. Even when it's not stated in the advert, I would say make an effort to find out who is the recruiting person. Put their name. If, let's say, you can't find the name at all, you have tried to search and so on, it's okay to write, dear human resources manager or dear hiring manager. It's also fine. I see generalizing. We are living in a time where people want to be recognized for what they do. So generalizing will not portray a good image where you just write to whom it may concern. Imagine you are a hiring manager and you are getting all these letters saying to whom it may concern, to whom it may concern. And then there's one candidate who goes on to say, dear Nancy. That is a huge game changer, because the moment the hiring manager sees that you made that effort to find out who they are, they will also be impressed. They want to see what else can you say. It's like general networking when you are networking on online platforms. I get people sending me messages, and I send people messages on platforms, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and so on. If someone addresses me by my name and says, dear Caroline, you know, there's always something that it changes the mood and the tone. I find the excitement and the strength to respond. But if someone says, hi there, I'm gonna do this, I want to learn about this, I don't take it seriously because already my name is there on the platforms. So if you say hi there and you are not acknowledging my name, yet you know it or you are seeing it, I can already be put off by that. And then also mention the job being applied for. Do not assume that the recruiter will know what you're applying for. Remember, as I said, many people are competing for that one position. So it's about distinguishing yourself. How does distinguishing yourself start? It starts from the legal things: name and surname, address, hiring manager acknowledgement or name, stating which job. Sometimes companies are advertising many jobs. You find that sometimes they have similar positions as well. I was recently looking at helping someone who was making applications for researcher positions. And I saw, as we were looking through different websites for various jobs, I saw research assistant position available. I saw research associate. I saw researcher. I saw research fellow. I saw research administrator. If you can look at these jobs, these are being advertised by one company. And nowadays, hiring managers or HR people, they always they will state to you that, can you please quote the code of the job? Or sometimes they will say, can you please write the title of the position? So those things are important. You may think they are not important, but they are to the people who are advertising because of what I've said just now, the similarities in the positions that are being advertised. Two, the little things that help to set you apart. Are you taking every step of the application process serious? That's the first question that you ask yourself. And I've dealt with so many applicants. Sometimes it's so disappointing to find that young people are not getting positions, not because they don't have the skills or the qualifications, but because they are not giving themselves enough time to tell their story, to show who they are, to show what they can offer or the value they can bring, and intend to show how the company can benefit from them being there. Never forget that when you are making an application or you are applying for a position, there's a specific thing that the company wants you to do. That's why you find that from the examples I've given you, they will say they need a research associate. That person does certain tasks or responsibilities. If they say they need a researcher, that person does certain things. They say they need a research fellow. That person again does certain things. So always take note of those little things. They make a huge difference when it comes to making applications. Okay, so moving away from the legal things, I'm now going to talk about the actual writing. You have now presented the top part where you've put your name, your address, dear Nancy, dear Mike, dear Samuel. Now you go to the next, or dear hiring manager, if you have failed to find the name of the person. And maybe if you can allow me to say that, do not be afraid to take a phone and phone the HR department if you want to seek clarity on an advert. If you want more information about a job, it's not a crime to call the hiring manager, or it's not that you are trying to influence anything. No, it's your right as an applicant to find as much information as you can, which will help you to prepare your application. You can send an email or you can just call directly. Morning, can I talk to so and so? I want to find out more about this and that, just to seek clarity. Make sure when you do that, you have gone through the advert, not to ask things that are already on the advert and you're just doing it for formality. No, do it because you have a purpose. If you don't need to follow up with the hiring manager, again, feel free to do that. So in terms of the actual writing, start by understanding the job description. So I want to spend a few minutes on this issue of the job description, because I've also found out that many job applicants I've dealt with in the past, they do not even give themselves time to go through an advert. Someone just reads the position name. They think they understand everything. It's like reading a newspaper. I hear people saying, as someone who is into journalism, I'm always listening to people's stories about how they do things and how they read newspapers and so on. So you hear someone say, oh, I know that story. I saw the headline. It was saying so and so. They have not read the full story, but they think because they read the headline, which was saying visas to be scrapped next year, they think they already know the story. And that is problematic. Whenever you see an advert, thoroughly go through the job description. So what you need to do is to print it out. If you cannot, because we are now also in this digital era, first thing before you apply for a job, you've gone through it and you think, oh, I think I like this and it matches my skills. Save it somewhere. Save that PDF somewhere. In the event that you are called for an interview, you will need that job advert. So save it somewhere for starters. And then when you get time, please do not rush through job descriptions and say, oh, let me go through it fast. I don't have time. And just do the application. No, take your time to read through the advert and understand what they're asking for. Which skills are emphasized? Which qualities are they looking for? What job details are relevant for me, which I can include? What are they saying about the company, which I can use in my application? Oh, this company specializes in this area, but this is not my passion. Do I want to do it? So that's another thing. You're hearing me saying passion. We have a problem nowadays where people apply for jobs because they think they're looking just for money. Life does not happen like that, to say I'm looking for a job because it's all about money. No. Whenever you align your purpose, your passion, your skills to what is on offer, you will never go wrong in life. You will find that jobs will start flooding you, looking for you instead of the other way around, you looking for jobs. So always bear that in mind. When you're making your applications, when you're working on your cover letter, on your CV, always have it in mind. What can I offer here? What are my qualities here? What skills do I have? You actually tick. You take a pen and the advert, you tick as you go. Or if you're doing it digitally, highlight. Or I think they say they need a social media manager. So it means I need to emphasize certain skills about my knowledge of Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and so on. Or they're saying they need a data scientist. So do I know about the software that they are using in that company? Those are things to find out. Those are things to know about. So that if you're applying for a data manager position and they are using a software, let's say, which is called eVision, and you don't have a clue about eVision, you are putting yourself at a disadvantage. Because what you need to start with before you even apply for that job is to see if you know about eVision, or to find similar softwares like eVision, which you can then demonstrate in your cover letter that you know about. And you even say, I have familiarity or I've got experience in using a software such as, you mention the one that they use and you mention the one that you know about. They can see that you have done your research, your background search of the company, and you are concerned and committed to offering what they are looking for. So as I'm giving these examples, I'm even thinking I should have asked you guys at the beginning to state for me in the chat. Maybe you can do that now so that my examples are also relevant to what you're doing. What areas are you studying? If you are into chemistry, put down in the chat. If you are into journalism like me, put it in the chat. If you are doing computer science, in the chat and so on, so that I try to provide as many diverse examples as possible, which will help you. So put that in the chat. And again, I'll say, Faith, if there are any questions, if there are any questions, okay, there's a bit of a disturbance there with one of the mics, but I think we are okay now. So Faith, if there are any questions, just feel free to pop them or to say them out. So please, I will not emphasize that more about visiting the company website. Before you apply, before you write that cover letter, understand who they are. Who have they as their CEO? What are they currently doing in terms of projects? Who are their competitors? What are some of their outstanding achievements? When you are crafting your cover letter, you even mention that, because you are already showing that what you are interested in, it resonates with what they do. You want to show the emotional connection that you have. Let's say they're supporting a particular cause or a particular charity organization. You want to demonstrate that in the cover letter. And that connection that you build there is what impresses many recruiters. Okay, so before I go ahead into the introduction, I want to check and see which courses some of you are starting. I see there that there's quite different courses. Environmental science, okay, that's good. I'm not sure what BSc, is it IT? I think it's Bachelor of Science in IT there. Pharmacy, nursing, public health, counseling, psychology. Informal IT is good, public health. So we have quite a diverse range of programs, but though more are inclined towards health and IT. But again, in this time that we are living, the good thing is that most of these fields now integrate. Such that even when you are studying, as you are doing your programs, I see industrial chemistry, as you are starting right now, just keep an open mind. Ask yourself, do not tie yourself and close yourself in your field and say, because I'm doing chemistry, I don't want to know what a psychologist is studying. Keep an open mind and open yourself to learning as much as you can, so that you can advance to the next stage seamlessly without any problems. Business administration, criminology, industrial chemistry, what a diverse range of programs, and that is very interesting. So I have an example here in terms of a beginning. How do you start your cover letter? So I would say start strong. But what do I mean by starting strong? I am saying have a punchy, have a captivating, have an introduction, which if a recruiter reads it, they will say, I think this cover letter, they should find enjoyment in reading your document. They should say, oh, this is the person we are looking for, just from looking at your documents. So after contributing to the growth and success as a marketing manager in Kenya, in Nigeria, it depends in the world where you have worked in the last 10 years, I'm seeking a new challenge in order to do this and do that. If you see this sentence, it may look long, but it tries to capture certain things I've already spoken about. It captures a bit of your experience in that you are a growth or a minded or oriented person. It already touches your experience, the 10 years. It touches the fact that you are looking for a new opportunity in order to offer a certain service. And it also touches the aspect of knowledge of the company, because you are saying in an organization with 25 years experience and grows tremendously. So someone is already seeing from your introductory sentence that this person is well aware of what we do. this person knows that we've been in business for 25 years. So again, that's what you should always think about. How do you make your letter punchy, captivating, strong, mind-blowing? Life, like what I've noticed just with experience of working with different people and also doing applications myself is that people who are shortlisted are those that impress the recruiter. Remember, we spoke about competition at the beginning. How do you make yourself stand apart from others? How do you make yourself to make the recruiter impressed by what you have written? I'm seeing questions there. If you have any questions, okay, it's Faith who is typing there. And then, should you write the cover letter on the email board, or it's a must? No, it's not a must. I think I said it at the beginning that you can put it in the body of the email, but make sure that you follow the correct procedures of professional cover letter writing. If you put it in the body of the email, then make sure that it's not too long. No one has time to go through long emails. I'll talk about the length of a cover letter, but within the body of the email, you just have to signal them. Either you make it short to the point and signal them to the CV which you have attached, or you just summarize everything about your cover letter on that body. We can talk about that later in the Q&A. Okay, sorry. So as I have said, your writing should be punchy, to the point, and there's also a common mistake that people like to do. When you are given an opportunity to write a cover letter, do not write everything about your life. You need to only write what is relevant for the position. Do not write what you have done, the schools you have attended, everything. You don't have much time, by the way. You are only going to have to write the cover letter in a page. So one page is very short to capture everything about your life. So only select and include information that is relevant to the position which you think is going to grab the most attention. You can also include relevant links in your cover letter if you want. Let's say, and these days particularly because most of these applications are being done online, if you have an online portfolio, if you've got something that you can reference to make the recruiter see immediately, you can just include the link in your cover letter and they will click on that link so that they see what is there. So that is optional, it's a choice you have, but again, it's something you can do to make yourself stand out. How long should it be is a question that I commonly get asked by applicants. 1 to 2 pages, but already 1 to 2 pages is very, very long. I would say the best is to stick to 1 page. 1 page is sufficient for you to make an impact. If it becomes long, let it not go beyond 1.5 or 2 pages because it will be very long. As I've said, recruiters don't have enough time to keep on reading 6, 7 pages, 4, 5 pages where you're narrating about your life history. Remember, they're going to look at your CV. Put only what you think is going to grab attention, what is going to make them jump to want to read your CV. So 1 page should be adequate for you to do that cover letter. Yes, this is now it's about style or structure. What information do I put where is another question I get asked most of the time. We have spoken already about the introduction. So you can make the introduction to be about yourself. If you remember the 3 points that I started with, you, the company or the organization, and you and the company. Why you together with that company? So the first paragraph, you can focus it on yourself to talk about the skills which they've asked for in the advert. Do you have the skills? And showcase that. Second paragraph, try to make it about the company. Show that you understand what they have on offer. Show that you understand their values and what they do in some of their key achievements. Then the third paragraph, now because you want to keep on building momentum as you are writing. When someone starts, they should feel the edge or the drive to keep going. It's like a car. The more you put, as you're going with increasing the gears, the more you accelerate, it means the car will go faster. It's the same approach. As you are writing, you start off slow, but you are starting with impact. Now you're talking about yourself, but already you are hitting on the skills they are looking for. You jump to the second paragraph. You show that I have researched your company. I know what you do, and I'm impressed to join you. Third paragraph, now you are hitting the nail harder now. You're saying, this is what I have. This is what you asked for, and this is I can do it. So it's about you and them now. You are now trying to show why are you a perfect fit. That's where now that link which I was talking about, if you have got a link to something that you want them to see, which is impressive, drop it there. If you want to put it in bullets, you're even allowed. Don't feel constrained to write long paragraphs going down one by one. You can write one paragraph, two paragraphs. As you want to reiterate or emphasize something, you just put bullets and then you put some few examples. That again is another way of making yourself to stand out. Be concise and direct. So this is an example again, straight to the point. I usually see people writing, I am skilled in using social media and I'm impressed to help the company to grow. That does not mean anything. Everyone is impressed and everyone can use social media. It's general. Again, coming back to the point about setting yourself apart, making yourself stand out. When I joined company A as a manager for social media, I grew, not even for social media, as you can see on my example there, you even hit hard on the platforms that they're looking for a manager. If they say we are looking for a manager to do Facebook and Twitter management, don't generalize when you are writing and say, I can do social media because there are so many of these platforms. Speak directly to the ones they are talking about. So you're saying, I've grown a subscription from 50% to 100%. And you show the time frame to show that you are a high achiever, to show that within given certain time frame, so that they can even think about you and say, okay, if we hire this person, are you able? Because sometimes companies are very clear with what they want. They will advertise and say, the company just started and we want to grow our business, or we have made losses because of COVID. Now what we're trying to do is to regain our lost ground, or try to re-engage users or buyers or something. They will always say what their problem is. So that is the language you should pay attention to, so that when you're writing your cover letter or CV, you turn that around and you use it to your advantage to show what you can do. Use keywords from the advert. I'm sure you're already familiar with this from the CV session, that when you are writing, even a cover letter, it thrives on the usage of keywords. What are keywords? If you look at an advert, there are certain key, usually, I think if I put it in this way, if I say certain technical jargon and language that is in particular fields. Right now, some of you told me you're in psychology. If I ask you, which are the skills that are common in psychology, you would find that your skills in psychology are not, your industry skills are not the same as the skills, say, in someone who is doing criminology. There are some common, we have got things like transferable skills where we say, do you have communication skills? Do you have leadership skills? These are common across fields, and anyone can develop them in any field. But there are those skills that are unique to professions, where right now, if I say, can I ask each one of you to write from me the keywords in your or in your field? You should be able to say, if you ask me right now and say, what are the keywords in journalism? I will tell you and say, news writing, video production, content production, something like that. If I ask people in your field and say, those who are doing criminology, please type for us examples of keywords in your field. Which are the key skills in your fields? You know them. If I say psychology, do the same. So this is to get you to recognize that when adverts are being crafted, there are certain things that are put there which you need to take advantage of. Use those keywords in your own CV to show that you meet the requirements of that position. And also, speaking about the applicant tracking system, which is called the ATS, it scans applications for keywords. That's why you find in some countries, which with more advanced systems, what they do is that when you apply, you can apply today. The job advert say closes tomorrow. You have applied today, it's a Friday. On Tuesday, you'll be called for an interview. It doesn't take more than 5 days. If you see 1 week lapsing, you know that you didn't make it. Because of what I said earlier on, these systems, they rank applicants according to who is the most qualified for that job. And how do they rank? They rank based on keywords. Maybe we can do this exercise to get people to think about what are the keywords and the key skills in your field. If you can just write for me on the chat the key skills or the keywords in your field, which you say, if I were to see an advert in my field, I know it will have these 3 keywords. Don't write the transferable skills, which we said can be transferred across fields. Leave out leadership, leave out your communication, leave out your problem solving, leave out all those, but write the ones that are industry specific. If you can just take 2 minutes and type those for me in the chat, I just, as a way for us to practice, to identify or to think about these keywords or skills we are talking about. Can you type them out for me in the chat and say, in criminology, 3 keywords that you would find in most adverts in my field are, in psychology, it's 1, 2, 3. In health, it's 1, 2, 3. That will, once you develop that skill, you will find that you will not have trouble with adverts. You will know what to do when you see an advert next time. Also, if you go to my YouTube video, don't forget to subscribe and check out some of the videos I have there. I have done, I think I do have a video which I did sometime last year, if not in 2020, where I did a CV diagnosis, where I was saying, let us do a CV diagnosis together. And we started doing like what a doctor does. You go to the hospital and for a general checkup, and they check, cholesterol level, sugar level, blood pressure. Is everything functioning okay? They check for that. So I did that doing a CV diagnosis where I wanted to help applicants to be able to say, oh, so this is what will be missing in my CV, or this is what I want to include. So you can write on the chat. I can see people writing there on the chat. So I can just pause for 2 minutes while you are thinking and writing on the chat. Okay, I see some interesting comments or chats coming up. Tracy says, definitely when I've seen adverts in my field, they include accounting, human resource management, and marketing. And sometimes you can find that, Tracy, accounting can even be broken down to specific things like balance, say, balancing, what is it called? When you're doing your balancing of accounts, or, using journals and so on. So you'd find that specific things to do with your field will be included. Okay, I see also drug monitoring, evaluation, and research. So this is for, I think, is it psychology? Is it for health course? So again, it's good that you are able to identify these, such that when you write, you make sure that they come through in the cover letter and even in the CV, so that as it goes through the system, it will pick them up. In public health, health promotion, disease prevention, that's good as well. As Yani, it shows your familiarity with the field. And this is how people undersell themselves. Just not showing that you are familiar with your field, it can work to your disadvantage. Yes, in IT, programming, network configuration, that is good, that is interesting. Okay, Trace is asking, my YouTube channel is my name. My name, as you are seeing my name on my video right now, is the same name and surname. If you want to connect with me as well on LinkedIn, on Facebook, I'm there. I'm on all these platforms. But again, I'll talk about this online presence and what some of the advantages are towards the end, and how it can help you to advance in your career. Information, I see another, Dennis is also saying software management, data science, IT specialist. So this is good. This is good because I can see that you are familiar with your field. Criminology, criminal profiling. This is good, Eugene. So your ability to identify these keywords will make a huge difference when you are crafting your application, your cover letter, and your CV. I'm just remembering that I saw a question earlier on that I didn't address about the difference between a cover letter and a motivational letter. Sometimes the use of these words is more like, they are used interchangeably. But what I usually say to applicants is, whatever opportunity or however the advert puts it across, make sure you do the best in terms of selling yourself or telling your story. So if they say, include a cover letter, remember we said this is the cover letter which you start with to motivate. So again, if they say motivational letter, it's more or less similar and it serves the same purpose. It should be one page. Write it to sell yourself, to market yourself, to show how you meet the job on offer or the position on offer. Okay, I can move on to the next slide. Be professional. I don't want to. Oh, we have people speaking in the background. If you can unmute yourself, thank you. Professionalism, please, guys, we cannot emphasize much about this one. Whenever you are doing things to do with applications, in every work that you do, always be professional. Be professional, how you address the hiring manager, how you present your work, the font size that you choose to write your cover letter. Use the normal font that is standard across the world, Times New Roman. Arial is also another font that is liked in applications, and it won't be rejected by the ATS. You can also use Calibri. Those are three common font names that you can use, but Times is standard, Times New Roman, and is the most common across, and I'm sure it's the one you are using for your assignments. So be professional. This also speaks to things like spelling mistakes. Go through your cover letter, through your CV, checking for errors. Did I omit an S there? Did I put a comma in the wrong place? Did I omit a Y? Did I end my cover letter professionally? Did I include a call to action? I'll talk about what that is shortly. At the end of it, dear hiring manager, at the end, yours sincerely, you put your name and your surname. Nowadays, for authenticity, in fact, it's now common practice for you to sign. You put your name at the end and you put a signature. Or if you've got an electronic signature, if you're doing it online, put the electronic signature. It makes it look authentic. It makes it look very professional. Use verbs in describing what you do or what you have achieved in the past. I boosted this, I grew engagement, I accelerated. There are so many other verbs that you can use. I have more in the next slide. Enhanced, developed, orchestrated. All these words are available online. Take time. That's why I said job application nowadays is a job in itself. It requires a lot of time. It requires commitment. It requires the ability for you to see that this is very important and that you give it your best shot. Established, increased, rejuvenated, achieved. It shows that you are a doer. It shows that you are an action taker. Avoid passive language. Please, guys. In ending your cover letter, before I talk about ending, please do not repeat your educational qualifications in the cover letter. You start narrating everything, you even put courses. You can just mention in passing that you are a bachelor of IT holder, but there's no need really, because you're going to signal that. Remember, we said the cover letter is to encourage the hiring manager to then read the CV. So you don't want to end up repeating information that you already have in your CV. End your cover letter by including what we call a CTA. It's called a call to action. If you have seen the way that advertisers advertise products, this is basically the same concept. A CTA is when you say at the end, I have attached my CV for more information and looking forward to hearing from you. And then you even go on to say, I can be contacted on, you put your phone number and your email address. That is how a CTA looks like. If you look at most adverts, they first sell to you a beauty product. You know, buy this Dove lotion because it does ABC. At the end of the day, they say to order. If you want to buy a new Dove, visit shop what found at this place, or get in touch with us on email, or you can do an online order. All those things that you see at the end of the advert, where they are now giving you information about where you can buy, the link you should click, we call it a CTA. Always remember that when you do your application, at the end, include a call to action, because what you want really is to be contacted, to be told that you are proceeding to the next stage of the interview, and they should contact you to tell you that. Right. As we are coming towards the end, hopefully we can have more time to engage and talk more about cover letters together. These are some of the common mistakes that I've outlined there. Generalizing. I spoke about this. Instead of just saying, I'm familiar with the criminology, get into the specifics of criminology. Instead of saying, I'm familiar with common softwares in IT. That doesn't mean anything. Tell them the software that they use. Or if there's another software that you know, but which is similar to the one they use, like the eVision example I gave you, talk about it. If they're saying they need someone who is good with marketing, give them examples of where you've done marketing. What did you do? How many people did you attract? Which platforms did you use? Do you see point number 2, which says avoid telling? Within communication, we say, do not tell, but show. Showing has got a higher impact than telling. If you're telling someone, you'd say, I am good at management. That is to tell. But to show that you are good at management, you will say, having managed 50 employees in a company, which was that I think you can see the difference there. Telling is saying I'm good with management or I'm good with leadership, but showing is demonstrating what you can do. I have managed more than 50 people. I have managed 100 people within a company. That's how we do it. Do not avoid the mistake of not reading the job. This is a big common error that I've told you about at the beginning. Many people just want to apply, but they don't want to give themselves time to understand what is required. Going through the job, it makes you, and don't go through it tonight when it's due tomorrow. That will be very dangerous for you. Go through it several times. What I do myself when I'm doing job applications, I first see an advert today, and then I forget about it. Not forget as in, not paying attention. I put it in my diary first. Oh, there's this advert which is due on this day. And then I start to process in my mind. What skills? Do I have the skills? I keep on asking myself, should I apply? Does it align with my purpose? Does it align? Do I see myself serving this company for 5 years? Yes, they're saying it's a 5-year contract. Am I willing to commit the 5 years? Am I willing to achieve what they're asking me? And then I check the company. Oh, why should I work for it? Why is it good for it? And then after that, so that process of, taking time to process and ask yourselves, it helps you to be more clear on whether you want to proceed or not. Please, I always say to applicants, do not apply for everything. I hear people sometimes saying, send me emails and say, I'm looking for any job. I don't mind any job. Guys, that is very dangerous. Do not open yourself like that and say any job. No. Look for specific jobs. Look for jobs that are in line with your vision, that are in line with your skills, that are in line with your knowledge and qualifications. You will see yourself break through without a problem. A job, there are jobs which you would read an advert and see that, this is me that they're looking for, because it's so fitting 100%. So if you read an advert and you see that you can meet 70% of what they're asking, go for it. It shouldn't be 100%. 70% going up is good. Avoid rushing through the application. Personal details. So this depends really on context. Nowadays, in some areas, they are very particular about issues of data protection. So what information they want you to include. That's why you find that some adverts would even mention that, do not tell us whether you are female or male, do not include your date of birth or things like that. Though that information is not required. It's too personal. It will only be asked to those who qualify to the next stage. Do not bury important information. Remember, we said 3 paragraphs is sufficient for a cover letter. You, the company, you and the company. That's all. Spelling and grammar, I've already spoken about that. Unexplained gaps. Sometimes you find that we have gaps because of different circumstances in our lives, educational, social, and so on. So if there are gaps on your CV, or which you think, oh, I won't be able to explain this properly. Don't feel ashamed about it. So, especially now, recruiters are more understanding after this COVID, because of COVID, since some people were laid off because of COVID. Some companies closed down. So you would not normally have these gaps. Sometimes you take a gap year. Sometimes you are at home sitting because you say you didn't have fees for a particular year. Don't be ashamed about that information. It's who you are. What you need to do is just to be confident. If you are then asked, oh, okay, we see a gap in your years, what happened? You can just tell them that, no, during this time, you don't focus on the negative and say, life situations almost killed me. You tell them positively that I had some challenges, but I managed to overcome. You then focus on the overcoming part. Don't focus on the negative and say, I was troubled. My sister took fees money and I ended up not learning. It looks like you are someone who is not, people don't want people who are negative, who speak negative of others. So you put it positively. Or I took a gap year in order to improve my skills. Or I was doing short courses or something. But find a way to explain your gaps. And then do not, I'm sure when you did the CV, you also spoke about sometimes people may want to add some information or lie in their documents. So again, that is a bit tricky because it may get you into trouble if you are found out. So also avoid that. Graphs and tables, no need to include those in the cover letter. If you know the CV, there's no need really. Then over decorating the CV or the cover letter, it depends. Some people want to come up with very sophisticated documents. There is no need for these decorations, please. I think we have come to an end. So I'm going to end here and I'll say thank you very much for your time. Are there any questions so that we can use? We still have about 30 minutes to talk with each other and engage so that I can hear and learn also from you. Thank you very much. I'll stop sharing my screen for now.
Thank you, Caroline. Maybe as Faith prepares to go take us through the questions, guys, kindly check on the chat. There is an attendance form. Kindly fill. Thank you.
Any question, kindly type. And yeah, thank you so much for talking to us. I think it has been quite insightful. Yeah, so if you have any question, kindly type. But I have a question personally on the structure.
Yes, go ahead, Faith.
So right, paragraph, like there's me talking about myself, what I do, where I have been before. Then now for the company, am I talking about what the company does or what? Sorry for that.
Oh, no, it's a good question, Faith. It's not necessarily what they do, but it's identifying something unique. You see, remember we said you are trying to set yourself apart from the rest. So what you are bringing up about the company, let's say there's something that they are doing in the community, or say there's an award that they recently got. You are presenting that information to show that you are aware of what they do. But don't forget to then show the link. Why do you want to join an award-winning company? What is it that they do? So you say, for example, I would be interested in joining a company that supports community schools, in the environmental awareness. And then you say your project if you know their project on environmental awareness, you can mention that in a sentence and say, your environmental awareness campaign, taught me about. It's just trying to show awareness of what they do, but linking it back to what they've asked you. Are you the person they are looking for in terms of the skills, in terms of the qualifications, and in terms of really what you can offer? So a cover letter essentially is a document that you use to showcase what you have on offer to address a specific problem in the company. But at the same time, you want to show that you are aware of what the company does. I can just give you an example right now of where I'm doing a PhD. When I had to apply for a place for a PhD, I did not say, oh, I'm applying for a PhD position because I want to do this area. I want to research on journalism in a digital era or something. No, I mentioned that, but I then went on to say, I noticed that as a university, you are ranked number 20 in the UK or in the world. And joining your university presents me with an opportunity to, and then I mentioned certain things. I hope that gives you an example. So you are showing them that, oh, I'm aware that you are ranking high. I'm aware that as a company, you support environmental awareness. I'm aware that as a company, you are into ethical practices. So this is information that distinguishes you from the next applicant.
There's a question by Beryl. What's the difference between a CV letter, a cover letter, and a personal biodata?
Oh, thank you, Beryl, for that question. So I'm not with the personal biodata. I think that one would apply more to a CV, where you would actually put your personal details. But again, as I said, nowadays these things are changing because of data protection rules. Some will ask for your personal details. Most will actually ask you your name, what, you put all that. But there are certain details that they will not ask you until at a later stage of the application process. So a cover letter is when you motivate for the job. But personal bio details, this is your own like personal biography about yourself, your personal details, who you are, what your nationality, your age, and you'll mostly find this in a CV if the application requires you to include that information. I don't know if that answers your question, Beryl. So the letter, you are motivating, the personal biodata, your personal biography is it's more like, in fact, we have, sometimes it's just a matter of different terms that are used in different contexts, but you'll find that most of the times these things are the same. Once you get familiar with applications, you will see that sometimes when they say motivational letter, they're just asking you for a cover letter. Sometimes they will say personal statement. It's more or less the same details I'm talking about that you will include in a personal statement. But the idea of saying personal statement is to make it more personal. So it's more about demonstrating how you are unique, how you stand out, and what you do. So there are all these different terms in different things. Personal cover letter, motivational letter, application letter, they serve more or less the same purpose. The key thing, do your best in writing them. Motivate why you are the best for the position. Don't worry yourself to say, oh my God, I've been asked to craft such a document, and then you focus that you forget that there's certain key information that covers all these different types of documents.
Thank you. I don't think there's any other question. So I think this was a very good session, and I hope we'll get to interact more in the future. Thank you so much. And yeah, I don't know if there's any other question, honestly, because I am not seeing any other question. Kindly, I would like to get your PPT. Oh, this someone wants
to get the PowerPoint. That's fine. I will send you. I think I've got your contact details, Faith. I'll send you them on email, and then you can disseminate.
Fine. Thank you so much, and yeah.
You are welcome, and I really wish you the best in all your studies. I saw that people are doing very exciting programs. Do not forget that whatever you set up for yourself in your life is what you get. If you doubt yourself, you will not go further. If you strongly believe in yourself, usually you always attract the positive things. And again, if you work hard in what you do, it will get you to your destiny. So always give yourself as much time as possible so that you can be the best of yourself. I want to, before I answer the question about be having an example of a cover letter, I see questions also that you want my contacts. Let me share that slide first, which is my name and surname and the platforms where we can connect. And then we can talk more there. Let me share my screen again. So it's this one. Okay, right. So on the screen there where you're looking, there's my name. So on my YouTube channel is Caroline Lunga, like that. If you just type out my name. In fact, let me see if I can find a link. It's easier for you to open a link. That's the shared window. Oh, okay. Let me just try to find a screen, right? Something to share with you right now. So in terms of an example of a cover letter document, I do have some examples. I will also share them with, is it Faith? Faith, yes, I'll share them with Faith so that she can disseminate with you. She can disseminate to you. I do have quite a number of presentations on my YouTube profile. Don't worry if you don't see any latest videos at the moment, because I'm trying to finish some projects before I can. Okay, I've put a link to one of the videos there, which can get you to get to my profile. So if you type my name, it has a Y. If you put an I, you won't find me. So it's Caroline with a Y there. And then you can connect with me on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, if I'm happy that for this session to come about, we connected on LinkedIn. So that's good. So if you are not on LinkedIn, please, I will encourage you, use LinkedIn, because it's a good professional platform. But also be careful of who you contact with and who you share your information, because nowadays on these platforms, you can even get criminals. So also be careful, verify information before sharing. Sometimes don't be called for jobs and go without checking. Check their authenticity before you go for jobs. That is very important. So I will share to Faith any kinds. Feel free if there are other things that you think about later. If you are not sending me a direct message on my LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, I'm there as well. You can contact, you can share with Faith, and then she can just disseminate with me. And then I can always address that anytime. Feel free to get in contact. As I said, my passion is young people, advancing leadership, people being able to fulfill their talents. Yes, Justus, you have your hand up.
Good evening. I hope you are able to get me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. So we had a blackout. So I think I left during the part of question. So I hope if I ask the question and it has been already asked, it's all okay. You can respond on the same. So my question is it possible to show us at least a cover letter so that we get to see it and compare, since a cover letter is a bit different from an application letter? so that we at least have a practical example of it. I don't think I have another question, so that's my question.
Okay, let me see if I have something which I can share right now, but if not, I can share something from my book. I'll have to retrieve that and then I can share it with Faith for her to share with you guys. But also remember that when you see how other people write, creativity is important when you are doing applications and also when you're writing cover letters. Do I have a cover letter? Okay, I think I don't really have a full cover letter here, Justus, but I'm seeing I've got just paragraphs of different parts of it. So what I'll do, I'll just compile that and share it with Faith. You should get it anytime. I think by tomorrow I will have sent to Faith. Including the slides, yeah. Okay, that's fine, Justus.
I don't think there's any other question. Yeah, I'll the slides and the different templates of the cover letters. So thank you so much for the session. I hope you'll get to interact more. Yeah, I think that's all. I don't know if it's a good night. I don't know if it's
Okay.
morning.
Yes, thank you very much, Faith, and thank you very much to everyone. So let's keep in touch.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Okay. Okay, good night.
Good night.
Hii watu wanafaa waashe mic hadi tuone bana.
Ya stacha kierere.